Will the Tennessee Titans miss the playoffs? The Jacksonville Jaguars are hot right now. They have won 3 out of their last 4 games, including their dramatic 17-point comeback at home against the Dallas Cowboys. Meanwhile, you look at Tennessee right now, they're ice cold. They lost on the road 17-14 to the Los Angeles Chargers, and with that loss, they have now dropped 4 straight in a row. Mike Vrabel is a fantastic coach, and I think that the Tennessee Titans embody the personality of their head coach better than any other team in the NFL. But I think the Titans are going to miss the postseason. They have way too many injuries that they have to overcome. And yes, Tennessee has been here before. They've been in situations in the past where they had to overcome a lot of injuries to get into the playoffs. But this year is different because Tennessee, although they have been able to be competitive against some of the best teams in the NFL despite not being fully healthy, like they only lost to Cincinnati 20-16. They took Kansas City into overtime with Malik Willis at quarterback. So this team, they're tough. They're scrappy. You're not going to be able to come in and just push this team around because they're not healthy. They're like that uncle or grandpa that you have in your family that used to serve in the military, and they got all these scars and bruises, and they got a story for every single one of them. That's the Tennessee Titans. That's Mike Vrabel. This team is tough. We know that. This team is going to be able to hang around with you until the fourth quarter. But the difference between the 2022 Tennessee Titans and the Tennessee Titans teams that we have seen in the past has been the previous Tennessee Titans teams have been able to win in the fourth quarter. It wasn't always pretty, but they have been able to find ways to win games in the past. This year's Tennessee Titans team, they're not all that great at being able to find ways to win games in the fourth quarter when things get tight. Against teams that have a record of 500 or better, the Tennessee Titans are 1-6. The only team with a winning record that Tennessee has defeated this year were the Washington Commanders. This Titans team, not only are they banged up right now, but the Jaguars are just a better football team at this moment. It also doesn't help at the fact that the Jaguars have the arrival of Trevor Lawrence. Now they have the best quarterback in this division. You see, for a while, Tennessee has had the luxury of having Ryan Tannehill consistently being the best performing quarterback in the AFC South. And that was even with Deshaun Watson. You couldn't really count him because Bill O'Brien held that team back. So Tennessee had the luxury of the last couple of years of being able to not only have the best coach team in this division, but also the best quarterback in this division. In 2022, though, things have changed. Now Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson are in Jacksonville, and they're now figuring out how to win. And when you have a young, talented quarterback like Trevor Lawrence, he's able to help you overcome limitations, and he's able to help you overcome injuries. Not just Trevor Lawrence, but just anytime you have a great young quarterback in general, he's able to help you overcome your shortcomings. Look at Justin Herbert with the LA Chargers. For most of the season, the Chargers were fairly injured. And yet they were still able to stay afloat due to the fantastic play of Justin Herbert. You look at the Tennessee Titans right now, the majority of their best players are injury reserve. Linebacker David Long, he recently got put on IR not too long ago. Your 2 talented cornerbacks, Caleb Farley, Elijah Molden, they're on injury reserve. Offensive tackle Taylor Lewan, he got put on injury reserve really early into the season. And not just those guys on injury reserve, but look at the guys who you have banged up going into this week's matchup against the Houston Texans. Christian Fulton, Traylon Burks, Amani Hooker, Danico Autry are all questionable for this game against Houston. Not only are they questionable, but Ryan Tannehill is questionable. Now, Mike Vrabel came out and said that Ryan Tannehill will be able to play if he is able to go with that ankle injury. And Ryan Tannehill's ankle injury looked pretty bad against the LA Chargers. Like, I have a lot of respect for Ryan Tannehill playing through that ankle injury last week. And Tennessee had no choice but to allow Ryan Tannehill to play through that injury because Malik Willis still hasn't developed. He still has a lot of room to improve. So Ryan Tannehill at this point gives you the best chance to win. And he's not even 100%. Ryan Tannehill is probably 65, 70% right now going into their bout against Houston. The Jacksonville Jaguars are going to win this division. Not only are they a more healthier team than Tennessee right now, but they're just a better team than Tennessee. Tennessee in the past has been able to overcome injuries due to great coaching, knowing who they are as a team, and having an identity. And yes, they do still have an identity. We know what this offense is. The heart and soul is Derrick Henry, and their defense is pretty solid at times. Their offensive line, though, has been a disaster. And I just wonder, when you look at their last 3 games on the schedule against the Texans, the Cowboys, and the Jaguars, outside of that Texans game, I think there's a strong possibility that they lose against Dallas and Jacksonville, and their season ends up resulting in them having a losing record. And my prediction for Tennessee to start this year was 8-9. Had questions about their depth. You had questions about how their offensive line was going to perform. And those things are now starting to come into the forefront. And these are now huge problems that the Tennessee Titans have right now. I mean, their best receiver is that tight end they have. That dude's a beast. He's probably having one of the best seasons that we have ever seen from a rookie tight end since Kyle Pitts' rookie season not too long ago. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they're hot. Not only are they hot, but they also have a better team and a lot of confidence. You listen to Tennessee in their post-game press conference after their loss to the LA Chargers. They're not dejected. They still have a lot of fight in them. But they realize that the Jacksonville Jaguars are now starting to close in. They know it. You listen to Bud Dupree, he knows it. They understand the level of urgency they need to have. But they also understand that they have a lot of injuries right now that are working against them. It's really hard for me right now seeing the Tennessee Titans being able to hold on to the AFC South. I don't think they're going to be able to get into the playoffs.